Uncle Peckerhead. What more do I have to say? Let's get into it. So the plot of this movie doesn't really seem like it's anything substantial, right? I mean, you can just add whatever genre onto it and it's probably going to work. A punk band finally gets the opportunity to go on tour, but there's one big obstacle in the way. They need a tour bus. I mean, how else are they gonna get there? On their search to get a good one, they find a man that's actually living inside of what would work out pretty well. So they ask him, he thinks on it, and then they go. I mean, obviously the plot's gotta start somewhere, so he can't say no. What our group of rockers don't know though is that this guy is far more punk than they will ever be, and if his secret gets out, it would really rock their world. At midnight, their new roadie, called Uncle Peckerhead, he gets a little hungry, you know? And what really satisfies that hunger just so happens to be, I don't know, just a little tiny thing like people. He is played masterfully by David Littleton. I have never seen you in anything else, David, but my gosh, you have become one of my favorite actors. You are a joy to see on screen. A complete pleasure to watch. Which is really weird to say about a guy that, I don't know, devours human flesh. This guy's odd condition obviously probably isolates him from making any genuine friends, since you know he might just eat them every once in a while. Although his condition does put some hurdles in the way, he does end up making friends with our band. They get a real nice bond, a real close camaraderie, and it is really nice to see. The slowest to warm up to UP, however, is the MC named Judy. She's a bit more uptight than UP and even the rest of the band. She likes keeping things going. She is goal-oriented. She is focused. All she wants is for her band to prosper. She's not a bored though. I mean, she has a little bit of fun along the way. There's just more moments when it's hard to like her than there are when it's easy to. Another one of the band members is a guy named Scott. He is gay, but they don't make it political. It's not like a political move to make this character gay. He is gay. That's part of his character. They keep going. And I really like that they do that. Because if it was something that they were just like shoving down my throat every 5 seconds, we just needed to be reminded, he would be unbearable. Completely unbearable. But besides a few jokes here and there, they don't really bring it up that often. He's just able to be that way. And that's probably the best way to do it. Next up we have Doris. She's probably the most forgettable. She's the most stereotypical, but she's got a lot of good jokes, so it was easy to watch her on screen without me being annoyed by her. She has some really bleak moments where she says some really miserable things, but for some reason I found that endearing. And although they do have very differing personalities within the film, all 4 of these characters have really good chemistry, and it was so great to see them. Every second of this movie was a good time. And it is all thanks to them. But they don't get all the credit. I mean, sure, the punk band on a tour thing is totally overdone. But putting a cannibalistic monster man in the mix, that really livens things up. But of course, this is a horror movie, so you probably want to hear about that aspect of it. Now, this is one of those movies that aren't necessarily scary. Instead of having frights, jump scares, those kinds of things, it makes up for it in gore and gross out. And I mean, it can get really gross. And normally, that kind of humor isn't for me. I'm not the kind of guy that's gonna listen to fart jokes and poop jokes and the whole time. That's not gonna happen. But somehow, the way they set these jokes up in this movie absolutely killed me a couple times. And although I just sung their praises a few minutes ago, the reactions of the actors really sold it. I think that was the best part of it. Just seeing these characters that I grew to love over the course of this movie react to all these insane ways and the ways that they do. Woohoo! It was a blast. But although there were some humor and there was some gory moments, there were also some really touching ones too. Trust me, I was just as surprised as you are. Believe it or not, the cannibalistic monster had the most humanity to him. There's a scene when the band is playing and nobody really seems to care. So UP goes out and he finds people and he brings them in and he gets a crowd and he finds a way to make that crowd get involved. And it was so awesome. I got like emotional about it. I was about to cry over there watching a stupid movie about a guy named Uncle Peckerhead. Now, I can't really review this movie without talking about a very integral part. The music. Although not necessarily something that I would sing along to personally, it was actually pretty good music and I would listen to it outside of the movie. But I think that the scenes that the songs took place in before, during, and after the songs is what really added to how much I enjoyed them. It was amazing, man. This is a good movie. I mean, let's go ahead and answer that question. Does it suck? Or are you in luck? You're definitely in luck here, unless you don't like watching gross things, which I know a lot of people don't. If that's you, steer clear, cause it gets nasty. But other than that, this is a really good film, and I do recommend it to people that like horror, and if you're okay with a bit of gross out in ways that are a bit more horrifying, if you like comedy, you're going to like this movie too, because it is hilarious. I would love to see Uncle Peckerhead explored in some kind of other movie. I would love to see him again. Heck, I would be okay with seeing the entire cast again in some capacity. They did really well. And just because this movie isn't some Hollywood film doesn't mean you should overlook that. This is a movie that I can recommend from the bottom of my heart to whoever thinks that this might be something that's a little bit up their alley. So if you considered it for even just a fleeting moment, just go give it a try. I would really appreciate it. And if you made it this far, I appreciate that too. Thank you so much. And above all else, have a great day.